Hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. The topic for today's video is boredom is the key to inspiration. We often think of boredom as a negative, unpleasant feeling that we want to avoid at all costs. But what if boredom was actually the key to unlocking our creative potential and finally being able to execute all those creative projects that we've been wanting to get to? So in this day and age, it's really difficult to be bored. Most of us have access to mobile devices that we can pull out on public transit or anywhere we go, and at home most of us have TVs or computers where we can just be watching TV or playing video games or literally anything. You know, this could be considered a triumph of our civilization that we just have constant access to entertainment. You no longer have to go to the Coliseum. You simply pull out your device at your leisure and you can have a constant, endless, infinite stream of entertainment, new movies coming out every day. There's never a chance for us to just sit alone with our thoughts and develop something wholly original. And although there is some benefit in engaging with other artwork and, being entertained at times, you have to find this balance and being able to moderate it. And if you're stuck in the cycle of avoiding boredom at all costs, you'll never have these moments of just contemplation, of originality. Because although certainly other works can inspire us in ways, it's the original formula and the development of our original ideas can only happen when you're in contemplation with yourself and not being entertained by external forces. And entertainment also takes away our motivation to create. Because when you're bored, that's when this impulse comes to you of, I need to share something with the world. I need to express my own original ideas. I actually have an original idea when I'm being bored. But when you're being entertained, there's this sort of feeling of like, this could go on forever. Like really, in a way, you're sedated. There's never any impulse to do anything because you're simply content with being fed something external to you. And there's nothing wrong with this if this is the lifestyle you want to live, but if you're someone who wants to express your original ideas and create artwork, it's very important that you be able to be okay with being bored. The writer Colin Wilson has this idea of working in the dark, which is the feeling of not necessarily always engaging with other artists or collaborating on your ideas, but simply creating your own original formula, your own original concept in the dark by yourself. And really this is where the magnum opus is born, is the still dark place inside of yourself where everyone kind of has like an idea or a formula that their soul wants to express. But you can only find this in these moments of boredom or quiet contemplation when you're not being stimulated by external factors, because this kind of muddles the signal. It makes it really hard to tune into that one thing that is within you. And it's really important that you reach your conclusion of the creative idea that you want to share with the world on your own, really in this quiet, contemplative way, right? Because if you're just cribbing a formula from some other piece of media and you're constantly watching things, it's so different than when you come up with something entirely original. And this is really what sets apart great artists from kind of like what you would consider hacks. It's like a hack is kind of just copying the style off of someone else, and there's really nothing original to it. But a great artist has something that is wholly original, that is not found anywhere else. Even when we're telling the same story over and over and using the same archetypes, the great artist has this original spin, and it is in these moments of just still contemplation with yourself that this originality will come to you. A big reason why people are afraid to be bored is that they're scared of being alone with their own thoughts. And of course, this can be scary at times, specifically if you have, maybe traumatic experiences or you have thoughts of harming yourself at times. Sometimes just sitting alone and being bored can actually feel kind of dangerous, where being entertained, it really feels kind of sedating. But what you need to understand is that you need to face these demons at some point in your life, otherwise they will overtake you and honestly could ruin your life. Being able to face these demons before they grow too strong will actually help you battle them. Like, you'll be able to win the battle easier than if you kind of push them away and ignore them. Their power level is only growing. But if you just face them head on and say, you know what, I'm going to sit by myself and I'll face all these dark, scary thoughts that I'm having, it's like slaying the dragon. It will actually banish these thoughts. Where if you think that there's going to be some constant uphill battle of like always having to fight your demons, honestly, you can get to a certain point where you can overcome them and it almost like diminishes their power, the hold that they have over you in the future. So really don't be afraid to sit with your thoughts. It's like in Frank Herbert's Dune, right? The concept of fear is the mind killer, right? We're not going to let fear win. We want to overcome our fear. And sometimes it feels almost like silly to say this, but that being bored is like the scariest thing. But it honestly can be. And even like if you don't necessarily have thoughts that are like dark or scary or anything, sometimes people are just afraid to see themselves for who they really are, you know, when there's not another person in front of me, when I'm not under the influence of drugs or alcohol, when I'm not being entertained by an external source of media, like who am I? And that existential fear is almost kind of terrifying. And I think what makes it really scary is that a lot of people are scared to look inside themselves and see nothing. But the truth is that there is something, there is a soul within you. And when you look inside and see it, it will be the most beautiful shining pearl that is going to give you so much inspiration for your creative projects. And a lot of people might struggle with this feeling of, how do I be bored? Like, I'm so used to just constant stimulation that the concept of even being bored is just almost alien to me. Well, here's how you do it, step by step, okay? Firstly, no substances. I know this is kind of hard for some people, but like, the thing is, substances are inherently stimulating to your body, and you need to take a moment to just be sober and just see the world with sober eyes, see yourself with sober eyes, and this will allow you to be bored. Then you need to stop watching YouTube, stop watching TV, stop playing games, like just nothing, okay? Cut off the entertainment from your life. And other people too. You know, other people are so interesting, you know? Sometimes you could just talk to other people or develop relationships with people, basically forever. You could fill up all your time with this. And honestly, other people are the biggest distraction in your life and the biggest time waster, because there's nothing that someone else can offer you that you don't already have within yourself. When it comes to this inspiration sort of factor, you know, you might be thinking that you're chasing down a muse, but at the end of the day, like, you can be your own muse. Like, it's all within yourself. And I'm not saying that there's no value to building relationships with other people, but if you're at the stage where you need to learn how to become bored, you need to isolate yourself just a little bit, just so you can get over this hump of figuring out how to sit with yourself. And then literally sit with yourself. Definitely spending time in meditation is important, so really just absolutely no stimulation. If you need instructions on how to meditate, there's plenty online, and I would suggest looking from like a Zen perspective. Sitting Zazen would be a good place to start. Or be bored with a sheet of paper in front of you. Get out a notebook or just a blank sheet of paper and, you know, entertain yourself by creating something. Whether this is a drawing, a story, a journal entry, or maybe like a mind map of just the things that come to you. You might be actually surprised because when you're constantly entertaining yourself, it almost tires out your brain. It can be a little bit exhausting, or you might think, I don't have any ideas because the only thoughts that are coming through your head are like external influences, like thinking about the movie you just watched, or thinking about the conversation you just had, thinking about how people perceive you. And you might not think, oh, I don't have any ideas for any creative projects, like there's nothing coming to me, or maybe I had this idea but I don't know how to develop it, and you know, maybe it'll just come to me one day. But it does take this time where you have to set aside intentionally, okay, I'm going to cut off all external influences and I'm really going to just be by myself. And this is when the ideas develop. Certainly there's times where something in the external world might make something click for you and be like, okay, this is the next step that I needed to take in the story. But again, like when it comes to the really early stages of your creative development, it's very important that you spend this time alone and just like look inside yourself. You would be surprised at how much inspiration is available to you just from within yourself. Alright, well, I hope this video was helpful to you. I feel like being bored can be one of the most difficult things in this world. Like I mentioned, it's just so easy to find stimulation. And of course, we want to avoid unpleasant sensations. But the benefit of being bored will really shock you, I think. And it's something that you have to keep up practicing. Like, honestly, even myself, I feel myself slipping back into this feeling of like, I just want to be entertained. I just want to let go. I want to let go of the reins and stop having to, think for myself or act for myself. But at the end of the day, this is the most valuable lesson you can learn, really, is that you already have it all. You don't need anything external to you. All right, well, if you want to share any stories about maybe how being bored has affected you in your life, please leave a comment below. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.